I mean, this speaks a lot in brief and in ano, na pagdating sa sisihan, tayo mga Pilipino ang nagtuturoan. Kaya nga po, hindi nyo kami, sa aking palagay, this committee cannot be faulted na medyo apprehensive kami ngayon. Medyo takot kami ngayon. Kasi pagdating sa pagsisisihan, kayo ang pinapaupo dito. Tapos itong mga Chinese ay mag-celebrate sila ng Chinese New Year. Mag-celebrate naman tayo ng Chinese New Year in deference to our Filipino-Chinese community here. But what I'm talking about is if we discuss about business, and when it comes to business, I would say I'm liberal. Gusto ko actively mag-participate ang ating bansa sa pag-usbong ng ating ekonomiya. But not at the expense of national security. Because I tell you, and this is based on my personal experience, threat could be actual, could be real, it could be imminent, and there's a potential threat. Believe me, 5 months kami nakipagbarilan sa Marawi. At ang pumasok ay mga foreign fighters. Nung una, ayaw namin maniwala. But when it happened, we were caught unsurprised. Flat-footed. I don't want NGCP, to some extent, our energy sector, to be caught unprepared and flat-footed. Kaya nga po, ang constitution natin ay paranoid pagdating sa pag-open ng negosyo na ang gagamitin ay ating natural resources and national assets. Hindi ho ba? So please, do some cleaning up internally. Mr. Chair, for my last manifestation, I would like to request NGCP to submit to us the guidelines on how they do procurement and bidding processes. I would also, I have the privilege, Mr. Chair, to move for a subpoena do sistecum, but I believe all our Filipino brothers and sisters who sits in the NGCP are patriotic, so I do not need to subpoena them. I would simply request that for the purpose of being Filipinos, I would like that the NGCP provide this committee the following, the procurement practices and process of NGCP, your guide, and the policy of the bids and awards, and the sinasabi niyo pong kaninang concession agreement with all these companies involved, especially those companies that listed that I just showed to you. And what are the other ongoing projects? Which locations are they being constructed right now? So I hope, I appeal to you being a Filipino citizen, and as a fellow Filipino, you would comply to this request. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. We now proceed from the one rider party list, the Honorable Rog Gutierrez. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Mr. Chair, as much as I would want to yield to the Honorable Chairman Fernandez, I fear that we are time limited and...
Please do not.
And I will not. I hope that Chairman Dan would understand po, no? Because I'd like to follow up on some of the points raised earlier. Also, likewise, I have questions in mind for our ERC Chair and for former President Matibag. However, I'd like to take advantage of the rare opportunity that we've already had our beloved guests from NGCP before us. Actually, I was keen to ask questions to President Almeida. Unfortunately, he had to go due to another commitment. But I'm surprised to find out po, no, na the president of the SGP, who has spoken more on behalf of NGCP tonight, I think would be more than capable of answering my questions. So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to direct my questions to Attorney Sagayo.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Attorney Sagayo, magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi po.
Sir, just a few questions po, no, because what I was driving at in the previous hearing was tungkol sa ating share agreement. Although I agree, national security is one of the primary concerns here, but I think we still have to consider, after all, we are talking about performance of NGCP, this is Legislative Franchise Committee, we have to talk about other provisions of the franchise agreement. And one thing that caught our attention previously was the dispersal of ownership requirement. We were asking the representative of NGCP at the time about what, I believe it was what she knew of yung ating dispersal of ownership to related po sa SGP, ngunit di niya po may sagot. dahil wala daw po siyang personal knowledge doon. So I'd like to ask po, just straight right off the bat, was there a swap agreement po between SGP, brokered SGP in the middle between the owners Henry C. Jr., Robert Cuito Jr., and the holding companies One Taipan and what's the other one? Pacifica 21 Holdings.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there was a share swap agreement.
Before that, Mr. Sagayo, can you just brief us so that I understand you appear here personally in your capacity as SGP President? But we've mentioned earlier that kayo po ay an officer of NGCP for the longest time, almost since the beginning. When did you transfer po to SGP?
In 2021 po when it became in 2021, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so you were in SGP since NGCP had need of SGP as
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Yes.
vehicle by which they were going to comply with the dispersal of ownership requirement. So,
Yeah.
at that time po, sir,
Yeah, even before that, Mr. Chairman, anong year yun? Even prior to 2021, Mr. Chairman, I was with the SGP.
so what year po tayo nag-start, sir, sa SGP?
Around mga 2013, 2012, like that.
2013
Yes.
to 2012. And at that time po, SGP was owned by who po?
It was owned by Mr. Henry C. Jr. and Robert Cuito Jr.
Already in 2012 and 2013?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay po. And so from 2009, you mentioned that you were with NGCP from 2010.
2010, yes,
2010. So
Mr.
only from
Chairman.
2010 to 2012, kayo po ay nasa NGCP? And then 2013, nasa
yes.
SGP na po kayo? Or concurrently?
Concurrently, yes, Mr.
There's no
yes.
prohibition naman po. You could
No
serve in
prohibition.
SGP and NGCP. That's why you're so knowledgeable po, no?
Hindi
With
naman po,
NGCP.
hindi
I
naman
mean,
po.
you were
As
able...
a-
Sir, let's not be humble now. You answered more than President Almeda tonight.
Hindi naman po. Hindi naman po. It's just so happened na, but I've been with the NGCP since 2010 and SGP, I'm not sure, 2012, something like that, Mr. Chairman.
Sige po. So you're aware po of the history of the attempt of the NGCP to comply with the dispersal of ownership requirements of its franchise.
Correct, yes, Mr. Chairman.
So, Mr. Chair, at the time, from 2009 to 2019, you had 10 years. NGCP had 10 years to comply with the dispersal of ownership requirement. Yet, it's correct to say that it failed to comply within the 10-year deadline.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. We did attempt rather, Mr. Chairman, to comply with the Section 8 of RA 9511 on the dispersal of ownership requirement of NGCP. There were previous attempts in 2010, but then, apologies, Mr. Chairman. Earlier, around 2014, there were attempts, but then, sorry, Mr. Chairman. Okay. There were attempts previously, but then in the absence of a regulatory reset and with the pending arbitration between NGCP and Transco and PISAM, we believed then that we cannot get the optimal valuation of our shares. So in 2018, we requested or we filed a motion with the ERC requesting for the extension of our compliance with the dispersal requirement of NGCP.
So, Attorney Sagayo, sir, from 2009 to 2018, there was no attempt to comply with Section 8. Mr. Chairman, sorry, maybe direct the question to Attorney Sagayo.
Sagayo.
Perhaps I should repeat my question. Attorney Sagayo, sir?
There's a question.
Yes.
Did you hear the question?
I'm conferring with our finance, Mr. Chairman. 2014, I think that there was an attempt.
Mr. Chair, my time is not running po, no?
Okay, we will, don't worry. Only on the questions, not on the answers. Attorney, Paul, can you answer the question, the Honorable?
The question is,
I will repeat.
I'm
for you
sorry,
again.
I'm sorry.
Of course,
Yes,
of
I'm
course.
sorry.
Po. Yes, sir. From 2009